Atlanta today with New York Times best-selling author Steve Berry to talk about his thriller, The Templar Legacy. Hi, Steve. Thanks so much for joining us today.
Great to be here.
So tell us, what is this book about?
Yeah, this book deals with the Knights Templar, which is a religious organization that supposedly went out of existence in the 14th century, but I've woven a modern-day thriller dealing with them, because when the Knights Templars went out of existence, their wealth and their knowledge was never found. To this day, it's never been found. So, what better fodder for a novelist than that?
Can you give us some background on the Knights Templar?
They were created out of the Crusades. The idea was to get a standing army there to protect the pilgrims who were coming to the Holy Land to visit after the Crusades took over. But they eventually grew into something much more. They grew into the first international corporation. They grew into a standing army. They grew into the Pope's private police force. They grew into an organization that actually challenged kings, and that's what got them in trouble eventually. They got a little too big for their britches.
Your protagonist, Cotton Malone. How did you develop this character?
I was sitting in a Café Nordon in Hybro Platz, which is a square in Copenhagen, and I was looking out over the square, and he came to me. That's how he was born. One afternoon, I was sitting there, and I said, Cotton Malone's got to live here, and he's got to have a bookshop right here, and this is where he's got to be. And so that's where he came from. He's a retired Justice Department operative who is now operates an old bookshop in Copenhagen and just can't keep himself out of trouble. And so that's why I want to bring him back for 3 more adventures. He's going to have some interesting adventures over the next 4 years.
Is there a little bit of Steve Berry and Cotton Malone?
Actually, there is. Yeah, this is the first character I've ever done that there is a me in there. He talks like me. He's got a little mouth like me. He has an attitude somewhat like me. And so, yes, there is a little bit of me in Cotton.
This story takes place mainly in France and Denmark, and you've written it so vividly. What kind of research did you do?
Well, I went to both places. I spent time in Copenhagen and time in southern France. I was in the Languedoc. I was at Rennes-le-Château. I climbed up the side of a mountain to a monastery in the Pyrenees Mountains, which spurred the monastery that I used in this book. I did a lot of on-site research. Now, you don't have to do that to write it, but it's more fun that way. It certainly is. And I hope folks will read it and want to go visit those places, because there's few places on earth more beautiful than southern France and the Pyrenees Mountains. Absolutely spectacular place.
The French town of Rennes-le-Château plays a big part of the story. So what makes this town so mysterious?
Well, the mystery that has been woven around it over the last 100 years with a great treasure that a French priest supposedly found there. Did he find anything? We'll never know, but it makes for great stories. And when you go there, you can feel his presence. You can feel Zonet's presence. In fact, they have a wax image of him there that looks almost like he's going to talk to you. It's very well done. The whole place is very much geared around that mystery. There's just a lot of unanswered questions about Rennes-le-Château, and I had a lot of fun in this book solving those questions.
With The Templar Legacy, Steve Berry delivers his most accomplished and gripping work. This thrill ride is as enlightening as it is entertaining, so pick up your copy today. Thanks and goodbye.